Welcome, everybody, to episode 51 of the Almost Daily Show with your host, Chandler.
And the Dave Picardi.
I am sitting here in the frigid weather here in Nevada. I think it's probably negative 175 degrees outside right now.
It's amazing how fast it gets cold out there. I think you guys have like a 2-week fall at best.
Yeah, it goes from summer, which is 100 degrees, right into winter, which is like 40 or less.
Yeah, you had a pool party a couple weeks back, and then we were on a call, and you were telling me how the snow's coming down.
Yeah, it's out of control. It's the high desert and the mountain weather. Unpredictable, completely out of control.
Crazy.
It's cray, yo.
So we get a good one today. Let's talk about some referral programs for your business.
Yeah, so in today's episode, we want to talk about referral programs, how you get referrals, how you get people who want to refer their friends, and then what are some strategies and ways you can actually maybe incentivize them to actually want to do it. And it comes down to one of the biggest things with referral programs is it's not giving someone like out. The first phase of a referral program is understanding the final piece of the buyer's journey and one of the final pieces of the buyer's journey. And what that is it's always giving them such a good experience that they want to refer their friends. They want to tag their friends in your post. They want to talk about what you're doing. They want to get all their friends doing what you're doing. And if you're in the service industry, that's what you want. You want people posting on Facebook about how good what you're doing is. And you want people tagging their friends in blog posts you write because they want them to see. And you want people to just automatically send their friends in because they're so pumped about what you do. And so we have to get out of the mindset of we need to give people like free stuff to refer, which is a strategy you can adopt and use. But initially, we need to make sure that we're providing such a high value and such a good service that people can't wait to refer their friends out.
Yeah, I mean, if you're trying to give free stuff away or take that route, I mean, it's probably for an actual like widget or a product, right? It's not going to work in a service business. It's all about that relationship. And what you find is if you do it on like maybe a superficial offer, it's not sincere from your client base. You know, if you want them to refer people, they have to refer them because they love what you do, and it's intoxicating being around it, and it's all they talk about. And then you're going to get that referral from a friend because the friend's going to believe in their passion for how excellent your service is or how excellent the experience is. If you try to do it the other way, you won't get the same results.
Yeah, exactly. And it comes down to the idea that if you're not chasing excellence in your business and you're not understanding everything that's happening in every interaction, making sure it's always a good interaction because we want to build that culture of caring, you're going to have to rely on discounts and freebies and stuff like that to get referral programs. And if you are selling like a low value item, like a fidget spinner or something, then you can offer $5 to refer someone out. But if you're in the service industry and you have generally like high value offers and low value offers and all those things that are encompassing the experiences in service industries, you need to provide that high level experience to get people to want to refer. Then at the same time, you have to actually tell them to do it. Because what we find more often than not is people won't do anything if you don't tell them to do it. You have to tell people what you want them to do. And it's not because they aren't going to do it or whatever. It's because they're so busy that they're not thinking about it. They're thinking about 100 other things. But if they get like a Facebook message from your page, or if they get an email that says, hey, if you have any friends who would be interested in what we do, we'd love it if you'd just give us their contact info or send this over to them and give them something to send. That puts them in a position to where they're like, oh, hey, I like what you guys do. I'm going to share this to as many people as possible. And that's us getting in front of them and just constantly reminding them like, hey, we do rely on referrals quite a bit. Referrals are a big strategy, and we'd like you to help us continue making that strategy successful.
Simple, right? You have to ask for the sale. You can't just assume someone's going to buy from you, and you have to ask for the referral. Best time to ask for a referral is when someone first purchases from you, preferably right then. I mean, so they understand what you do. They're sold on what you do. They're extremely fired up over it. They've just made a decision themselves to really step up and do something. And especially if you're in the service business, and they're more likely to go, tell all their friends about it. Right. So that's one of the things I think that is important is understand when to ask for the referral. And then, you can always ask if someone's been with you a long time, you can always just ask them straight up. do you have any friends that you can refer me? I'm looking to grow my business.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things I think people.
Tuesday, October 3rd, 2017.
The radio playing. So that's one of the biggest things I think we fail to recognize is you're not being annoying by asking for this kind of stuff, and you're not putting them out for asking this kind of stuff. You're finding critical points to when their happiness is peaked in what you're doing, and then asking them at those critical points. And it's usually, like you're saying, right after they purchase is a critical point because they're going to be pumped about what they're doing. Like 3 months into what they're doing, they're going to be super pumped about it still. So that's another point. And then every single time you have like a pinnacle environment with them, or you have like a pinnacle piece where they're going to remember it, or it's something that they're really happy they accomplished, or something you did a great job on and they're raving about it. Those are the critical moments when you have to pay attention, and when you have to say, okay, right now they need a referral strategy. They need a referral email or a referral text message or a messenger message or anything like that. And you're just asking them like, hey, thanks for being part of what we do. We're super pumped that you like what we do. Do you have any friends who would be interested in coming in and checking us out? Because everything we do revolves around working with people like you who make this place what it is.
Yeah. And you know, like we obviously, one of the businesses Chan and I have are gyms. And, you know, in our environment, say there's annual measurements, you know, and we're always tracking and working on improving clients. And so maybe it's when their annual measurement comes up and over the last year and you do a before and after or whatever it is, great time to ask for a referral, right? They're going to be out telling all their friends about their amazing experience. But just asking, you know, I think maybe I want to put this challenge back on you, Chan, to talk about this is, so if I say, Chan, you know, like, look at all the results you just got. Is there anybody that you think would benefit from my service? Now, you've put it on them to go sell somebody. Right now, they have to go out and they have to do the contact and they have to do the sale. And so you really want to, there's a couple parts of that is you want to educate them on what they're supposed to even say. That's part of your ongoing communication. You can't just rely on them to be able to go out and convince someone to come into you. And then maybe even put the thought in about what is it when you say, I want a referral, what is it they're going to go tell that person? Is it, you know, the third Saturday of the month? I put some time aside to meet with new clients, and this is exactly what I'm asking for. Now you can go do this. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think one of the big things when you ask them to do something, you don't want them to go off and just randomly talk about whatever, not really care. So you have to set them up for success. So like, hey, you know what we do. Here's how we do it. Here's how the programs work. And here's what we'd like you to go and bring to your friends or whatever. And probably a better strategy is, hey, we love it if you talk to your friends about what we do, but we love it even more if we had permission for you to give us their contact info. We can call them and talk to them about it and tell them that you sent us their way. So that way you're getting the power of the follow-up from them by providing their contact info to you. And then you can maintain contact as long as the person who's referred is okay with you contacting them and everything. And you start that off with like, hey, so-and-so gave me your contact info. They said you'd be a great fit for what we do. Just wanted to talk to you a little bit about it and see if it makes sense to work together. And then if it's usually that kind of a call is not going to be appreciated if it's not a referral call. But if someone says so-and-so sent me this way and gave me your contact info, 9 times out of 10, and you can tell the people this too, like make sure you tell this person that I'm going to call them so they know and understand that you sent me their way and I'm not just cold calling them trying to sell them stuff. And that gives you a certain amount of trust right off the bat. So like, hey, so-and-so called me and then, oh, okay, now that makes sense. Let's talk. I'm more willing to actually go back and forth with you about this.
Right. And something else I'd say is make sure that when you're doing like some sort of referral program, or I know there's different things. Like years ago, we did something where it was a TV, you know, so we had a big flat screen TV, and you know, every friend that you referred, you got a name, you got a check mark next to your name, and the person with the most check marks won the TV. And we ended up having we brought in a lot of new faces for referrals, and at the end of the whole challenge, we were like, I think we're like 2 less overall memberships in the gym than when we started, right? So we weren't paying attention to like, you know, retention and some of the important things that went along with the referral program. So just, you know, I think that's the big point is what are you referring them into? Probably matters. Make sure your product's on point. And then something that I've always liked from a referral system is what if every client, what if they got a gold card or something that was a specific thing, but it represents quality? And you're not trying to get just lots of people referred to you. You're trying to get a member or a client to actually take pride in the type of person they're going to refer to you. And you could create a whole system around that where the member gets a gold card. They're only going to give it to someone that they know is going to use it. It's like a life-changing thing. And then when it gets brought back to the gym or to the business, maybe it's worth something, right? It's worth something to the original client, and it's worth something to the new client.
Yeah, a while back, probably a year or maybe 2 years ago, we ran a program where we gave people like real cards. And it just said the holder of this card is entitled to whatever. It was like an intro session or a consultation or something like that we normally do anyway. But it looked like a real card, and it was like hard and everything, and seemed like it had value behind it. So we gave all those to our members, and then we told them like, hey, if you go out and refer, just give these to the people and then have them contact us. And when we gave those out, we set up like a tiered program too for referrals. We said, hey, if you refer out 3 people, we'll give you a month on us if they stick with it for the whole month. And usually if they just start, they stick with it forever because we have such a program that integrates them in a systematic way. And then it was like, hey, okay, if you get 5 in, you get this. And if you get 10 in, we'll give you a whole year off your membership if they stick with it for like 6 months. So we can make up for what we're going to lose on you. And it turned into one of our bigger referral programs that we've ran because we had the physical cards and because we gave them some benchmarks to go through, and we still have most of those people. So I think the way you have to set it up is maybe less of like a challenge environment and more like, hey, here's something you can give to people, and here's some things that you can get if you refer this many people out. But I think on top of that, what you have to be ready for is if you offer something like this and you have a huge chunk of your membership referring out, you have to be ready for the influx of people. Because if you're not, you're going to provide a poor service and you're going to lose all of them, which isn't good because that doesn't maximize our retention. So you have to make sure like you have a plan of action and a strategy to integrate all these people into your program the same way they would as if you didn't have a referral program coming in. So you have to plan for volume in addition to always planning for that excellence factor.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'd build out an entire client experience around the referral system first before you try to figure out what you're trying to incentivize people with. I know my first gym was in a pretty affluent area, and my client value was extremely high. I had just transitioned from a huge personal training business, and we started incorporating some of the group stuff in. And none of my clients wanted anything for referrals. So that was an interesting thing. My referral game was high, but no client wanted anything in return. They just believed in me and they believed in the product so well that they just wanted to refer people. So, I had a system in place where I'd personally meet with them and do these things. And the clients, that's all they wanted. And I couldn't give them anything in return. So I think maybe your clientele matters. The demographics matters a little bit. But I'd say build out what the referral program looks like from an experience standpoint. To make sure that your existing clientele gets an extremely high experience and feels good around the whole referral process. And then the new potential client that you have coming in feels really good about the overall process and there's value there.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't have to get crazy by offering stuff either right off the bat. All you have to do is set up just a simple structure and a simple strategy to make sure they know you want referrals. So it's like, hey, every 3 months, you're going to set up an email to go out to them and saying, hey, you have friends, refer them out to us. And then maybe when you have their phone number or Facebook Messenger and you know their preferred method of contact, but maybe when you get a really big benchmark and you get that message from someone, especially in like the gym or the service industry that says, hey, thanks so much for helping me. This helped me come a long way with where I was. That's when you say, hey, that's awesome. I really appreciate it. Do you have any friends who you think would benefit from what we do and how we helped you? So just have a strategy. So if they say like, you really helped me and I really appreciate what you do, you say you appreciate it. And then you say, hey, do you have anybody who you think would be a good fit for us? Then you have the emails going out once every 3 months or so. And then you've got a pretty good strategy to keep them in the loop and keep them organized and aware that you're always looking for referrals and you're always wanting referrals.
Good stuff. So I'd like to hear anyone that's listening to this, any ideas that you have. So if there's things that you've done in the past that have worked or ideas, we'd love to discuss them. So put them in the comments and we'll keep this discussion going.
Yeah, exactly. Make sure you comment. If you're listening to this on the podcast, head over to our private Facebook group. Just look up the Out of the Cave Media Facebook group, jump in there and ask some questions and talk back and forth. All right.
Excellent.
See ya. Bam.